A heavy weight settled in the young man's chest as he realized the dire straits of his kin. His family remained trapped within the Saint Yuan demon sect, and with no clear path to escape, the situation appeared increasingly grim. His thoughts shifted to the geopolitical landscape. The Great Xia dynasty, where Zhaomu had originally been located, now faced a relentless siege by the neighboring Great Zhou dynasty. Currently on the verge of total destruction, the Xia dynasty's fall seemed inevitable. A strategic realization struck him. If his family could find a way to intervene and protect the Great Xia dynasty, it would be equivalent to doing Zhaomu a favor. Decisive, he resolved to act. Right, I will go find my father to explain this matter right now, he declared. With a surge of crimson energy, he ascended into the air, leaving the ground in a blur of power as his companions watched him depart. A streak of brilliant purple light arced across the sky, descending toward the mist-shrouded peaks of the profound Array Peak. The young man landed softly amidst the floating islands and ancient pagodas, joined by the venerable Elder Zhou. They stood within the heart of Array Valley, a place vibrating with hidden power. Elder Zhou gestured toward the horizon, his voice filled with professional pride. This is an Array Valley. A total of 3,271 arrays have been constructed within this entire valley, he explained. He then pointed toward the epicenter of the spiritual energy. Moreover, this is the core of the Saint Yuan Demon Sect's mountain-protecting Grand Array. Once the Grand Array is fully activated, this will become the safest place in the Saint Yuan Demon Sect. The young man took in the scale of the fortifications, nodding thoughtfully. I see, he murmured. A question soon occurred to him, and he turned to the elder with curiosity. Was the array on the climbing heaven road also laid out by you, Elder Zhou? The question seemed to catch the old man off guard. He paused, a self-deprecating smile touching his lips as he stroked his long white beard. Although I style myself as an array genius, even if I exhaust my lifelong efforts, I wouldn't be able to create an absolute top-tier array like the climbing heaven road. Elder Zhou's expression turned solemn, his eyes reflecting a deep-seated reverence for the history of their order. The climbing heaven road is an array personally created by the Saint Yuan patriarch 8,000 years ago. For the Saint Yuan demon sect to stand tall in the 10,000 demon forest to this day, the climbing heaven road is the greatest contributor, without a doubt. As he spoke, the image of the ancient patriarch seemed to shimmer in the air, a figure of immense power standing before a massive, glowing golden mandala, a testament to a legacy that modern masters could only hope to preserve. The young man gazed toward the distant peaks, his mind racing with the legends of the sect's founder. The patriarch is truly amazing, he mused aloud. I heard that 1,000 years after the patriarch founded the Saint Yuan demon sect, he disappeared. Did he fall? Elder Zhou fell silent, his expression darkening as he stroked his beard. The air between them grew heavy with the weight of unanswered questions. I also do not know the whereabouts of the Saint Yuan patriarch, the elder finally admitted. Rumor has it that he successfully transcended his tribulation and went to a new world. However, a more chilling vision flickered through the elder's mind, an image of the mighty patriarch bound by heavy, glowing chains, multiple swords piercing his back as he remained suspended in a void. Some also say that because he discovered an astonishing secret, Zhou continued, his voice dropping to a near whisper, he was imprisoned by a certain faction and has not been able to break free to this day. A cold sweat broke out on the young man's brow. To suppress a figure as legendary as the Saint Yuan patriarch, just how terrifying of a faction must that be? Noticing the boy's unease, Elder Zhou waved a hand dismissively, breaking the tension. It is still too early for you to come into contact with these things. Follow me into the cave abode first, and let's test how your array aptitude is. Yes, the young man replied, bowing respectfully before following the elder toward the rocky entrance of a hidden sanctuary. They walked along a stone-paved path that led into the heart of the mountain, arriving at a grand, red-doored entrance tucked within a cavern. As they stepped through the threshold, a pink-haired woman waiting inside turned toward them. Master, she greeted, her voice echoing softly through the stone halls. The pink-haired woman approached with a confident stride, her presence filling the room. How do you have the free time to come to the cave abode today? She asked, her gaze sweeping over the visitors. This was Zhou Shanshan's disciple, Xiong Yurang. As she drew closer, the young man found himself momentarily stunned. His eyes widened, his focus inadvertently snagged by her striking and ample figure. Asterisk so big. Really big, asterisk he thought, his mind momentarily short-circuiting. He quickly blinked, a flush of heat rising to his cheeks as he fought to regain his composure. How embarrassing, I almost lost my composure in front of this senior sister. Elder Zhou, seemingly oblivious to the young man's internal struggle, stepped forward to make the introductions. Yurang, let me introduce you. This is Zhao Mu, your little junior brother. He then turned to the young man. Zhao Mu, this is your senior sister, Xiong Yurang. Although her cultivation base isn't high, she is a divine rune prodigy rarely seen in a century. Zhao Mu immediately smoothed his features and offered a respectful bow, clasping his hands together. Zhao Mu greets senior sister Xiong. Yurang acknowledged the greeting with a short, cool her expression unreadable. With the formalities out of the way, Elder Zhou prepared to depart. A golden halo of light began to shimmer above his head, signaling his imminent movement. It just so happens that I have some matters to attend to right now, he announced, the spiritual pressure in the room shifting as he activated his technique. So let her take you through the basic introduction of an array master first. Follow me, Yurang commanded, her tone curt as she turned and led the way deeper into the sanctum. Zhao Mu offered a quick, okay, and trailed behind her, his eyes focused on the task at hand. They stopped before a stone altar where a flickering orange flame danced atop a basin. Yurang reached toward the fire, her fingers expertly coaxing a small, circular object to rise from the heat. It floated within a plume of spiritual flame, glowing with a dull, ancient light. Senior sister, what is this? Zhao Mu asked, leaning in to inspect the artifact as it hovered before him. A divine rune disc, she explained calmly. Hold it and place it between your eyebrows. As Zhao Mu reached out to take the disc, she added a final instruction, do not look with your eyes, feel it with your heart. Zhao Mu closed his eyes and pressed the cool metal of the disc against his forehead. Instantly, the world around him vanished. Golden spiritual energy erupted, weaving intricate, glowing chains of runes across his vision. He felt himself suspended at the center of a massive, radiant mandala that pulsed with the fundamental laws of the world. The sheer scale of the information was overwhelming, a sea of ancient knowledge manifesting as light. Alright, that's enough, Yurong's voice suddenly broke through the trance. The golden vision shattered, and Zhao Mu found himself back in the cave, blinking as the orange glow of the divine rune disc returned to Yurong's hand. He looked slightly dazed, the resonance of the runes still echoing in his mind. Yurang lowered the divine rune disc, her expression unreadable as she watched the young man recover. Tell me, did you see anything just now? She asked, her voice steady. Zhao Mu took a moment to collect his thoughts, the vivid imagery still burned into his mind. I saw a large disc, he began, with peculiar symbols on it. Yurong's eyes sharpened at his description. She crossed her arms, her gaze growing more intense as she processed his words. To be able to visualize the divine rune disc so quickly, this little guy really does have some talent, she thought. No wonder Master brought him back personally. Tell me again, how many symbols did you see? She pressed, her skepticism warring with a growing sense of astonishment. Zhao Mu rubbed his chin, looking somewhat sheepish. I forgot to count carefully, he paused, trying to estimate the sheer density of the light he had witnessed. About 1,000 or so, maybe a bit more, but definitely not exceeding 2,000. Yurong's composure shattered. What? She shrieked, her eyes wide with genuine shock. Her mind raced as she compared his experience to her own. He saw over 1,000 divine runes on his first visualization. When I did it for the first time, I only saw a few dozen. Zhao Mu, startled by her sudden outburst, pointed toward the disc. Are those symbols divine runes? Reclaiming a bit of her dignity, Yurang raised a finger to emphasize her point, her tone turning instructional. That's right. All things in heaven and earth have their order of operation, and the power that maintains this order is the divine runes, hidden in the dark recesses of space. Xiong Yurang gestured to the air, her voice carrying a weight of ancient wisdom. Divine runes are everywhere and have myriad variations, she lectured. No one knows exactly how many kinds of divine runes exist between heaven and earth. I've studied array art since childhood, it's been over 30 years now, and my array realm has reached the 6th grade, yet I have only mastered over 6,700 divine rune variations. Zhao Mu looked at her, his hand on his chin in deep thought. There are actually that many of these mysterious symbols. Then is my aptitude for becoming an array master really bad? Yurong's eye twitched, her frustration simmering just beneath the surface as she glared at him. Bastard, is this guy here to show off? She thought, her teeth gritted in annoyance at his unintentional arrogance. Shaking off her irritation, she regained her focus. Never mind. Since you can already visualize divine runes, let's begin the next step of the teaching. She held up the glowing divine rune disc once more, the orange flames licking at the air. Aha! Zhao Mu chirped, leaning in with genuine interest. Watch closely, she commanded. She channeled her spiritual energy into the disc, causing brilliant golden light to erupt from its center. In an instant, the stone walls of the cave dissolved, replaced by a vast, shimmering blue expanse. Zhao Mu looked around in wonder as the world shifted around them. Is this an illusion array? You could understand it that way, Yurang replied, her tone a mix of professional pride and lingering annoyance. With a wave of her hand, the environment began to warp further. Pillars of ice rose from the ground while roaring flames and crackling lightning manifested in the air. With my current strength, I can also change the structure of divine runes through the divine rune disc to mimic some scenes. The strain of the demonstration suddenly took its toll. Yurong's face went pale, and with a soft gasp of, ugh, her knees buckled. Seeing her stagger, Zhao Mu instinctively reached out, catching her before she hit the ground. His hands inadvertently landed against her chest to steady her, a moment of awkward contact that left him flushing bright red. Senior sister, are you all right? He stammered, his heart racing as he helped her remain upright. Huff, I'm fine, she panted, leaning into him for a brief moment of support. Manipulating divine runes still consumes a massive amount of spiritual power. Gently but firmly, she placed a hand on his chest and pushed herself away. No need to help me up, I'm already fine. Oh, okay, Zhao Mu replied, stepping back and trying to ignore the lingering heat in his face. Yurong walked over to the altar, her expression turning somber as she looked at her hands. This happens because, although I have quite the attainment in arrays, I unfortunately lack aptitude in cultivation. To this day, I am still stuck at the peak of the foundation establishment realm. Zhao Mu tilted his head, puzzled. Breaking through to the core formation realm shouldn't be hard, right? Doesn't the 5th grade Chaoyuan pill help cultivators form their cores? Yurong sighed, a trace of bitterness in her voice. I've even tried the 6th grade Chaoyuan pill, but it's already ineffective on me. Master said that my purple mansion is innately damaged, and my core veins cannot gather together. She looked down at herself, her frustration evident. Unless I can get my hands on an 8th grade origin gathering pill, I have no hope of breaking through to core formation. A knowing smirk tugged at the corners of Zhao Mu's mouth. He rubbed his chin thoughtfully, a glint of mischief and confidence in his eyes. Senior sister Yurang, he called out, waving his hand to get her attention as she looked back at him in confusion. If I say that I can help you get an origin gathering pill, he leaned in closer, his voice dropping to a low, playful tone that made her breath hitch. How do you plan to repay me?